Hello, my name is Sarah, and I am the special education administrator. And go ahead and introduce yourself.
I'm Jenna Smith, and I am the special education teacher.
I'm Jenn Bosenberg, and I'm the general education teacher.
And I am Kate Smith, and I am the parent. As the administrator, I'm going to present the parental rights. They basically explain uh, it's your go-to resource if you feel like we are not meeting your standards or you don't feel like you can come to us as you're not comfortable coming to us. Please read through the standards and your rights, and yeah, you're good to go. All right.
Okay, so we are here today to talk about Will. Today is November 23rd, and we are just going to talk a little bit about his progress and his performance and what we can do to help him. So first off, his present levels of performance. He is a really smart kid. He's really great to have in class. We know that he can read at a second grade level, but we also know he can understand higher level material at fourth grade level when it is read to him, but he just struggles reading independently, writing, spelling, things like that. He does read pretty slowly and he struggles with larger words, which make it hard to comprehend in turn. And with writing, he does require a long time to write. He accurately spells at about 20%, so we need to work on that. And he does struggle with his handwriting. So that is another thing we're going to work on that we'll discuss a little bit later. Communication-wise, he is great to have in class. He speaks clearly and thoughtfully, and he's really funny, and he does have a lot of friends. But because of his struggles academically, he is kind of getting in trouble a little bit more in class. So he's getting sent out into the hallways, he's being disruptive. But he does speak very well with adults and other children, but he has become slightly disengaged, refusing to do his work, and has just becoming more frustrated. So he's been spending more time in the principal's office and in the hallway. And we know that he's worried about the tests that are coming up at the end of the year and going into middle school and things like that. So we are.
Well, I definitely have seen that at home as well, that he's struggling, and that behavior is kind of acting out, especially when it comes to homework. He gets frustrated and he doesn't want to do it, and he shuts down, and so it's definitely transparent, but
right.
Hopefully we can figure out. We're trying to deal with it at home, so we can deal with it here.
Yeah, definitely.
What we've been thinking about how we can approach it a little better now moving forward is if he is struggling and he's refusing to do his work, like we can provide a quiet space for him, and so that maybe he can go and either kind of have some have a quiet space to work, but also to I have a free hour at the end of the day where kids can come in, and it's kind of a free period that I have. So if kids are having if they need to come in and get a little more one-on-one with me, or if they can just come and work independently, have a quiet space, that is an option. So it's about an hour at the end of the day, and we've talked about it, so that is available to Will if he needs it.
Do you think that he should participate in that?
Yeah, I mean, it really will come down to if Jenn feels like it's a good idea and she can talk to Will and give him a choice. And we've discussed too, it wouldn't really take out of his day. He wouldn't really be missing much because he'd just be taking his work and come work in my room for that additional hour.
I think that will work. I definitely get on time to allow him the extra hour.
Okay, and this is actually during the school day. So this is like, yeah, so it would actually be in the school day, so you wouldn't have to worry about it being an extended day for him.
Okay. With that, a little bit, there are some consideration of special factors on an IEP, which we'll just go over with you really quickly.
So it's on page 2.
Yeah, it's on the next page. And we checked no for most of the things because Will does not need really that many special accommodations when it comes to things like this. So it asks if he requires special transportation or extended school year services, or if the student's behavior is negatively impacting the learning of other children. So we said no to all of those things because that's how we feel. But if you feel differently, please let us know. We can definitely talk about that a little bit more. But it doesn't seem that he needs special school buses or anything like that.
So does that seem appropriate to you right now?
Yeah,
The way that
absolutely.
section looks perfect. Okay. All right. So, any other questions you have right now? Kate?
Yeah, I'm kind of curious about how his day is gonna look. How are you going to provide, separate instruction? Just curious about that.
Yeah. We can kind of go through what his day is going to look like. So they're doing their reading instruction and then their writing lab from 12:30 to 1:30 every day. So he will come into my room during that hour. So it will look like I'll come and get him, or he can come down to my room, and we'll be working on his goals that we're going to discuss here. So we'll kind of, if you want to look on page 4, we will start talking about his goals. So Will is struggling with fluency and also with comprehension. So like larger complex words are a little bit harder for him to decode. So what we've talked about is he'll pick out a book at the library, one that he's interested in, and then there'll be an audio book with it so he can listen to it and read along with it at the same time. So we'll work on that. And then for spelling, he will have like a modified spelling list that Jenn would like to have him know, and then he'll bring it into my class, and we will do like a multi-sensory approach. So he will first will say the word out loud, then he'll spell the word out loud, and then he'll write it down. And we'll just go through each word, and we'll just make sure by the end of the week he has them mastered. And then we'll just kind of make adjustments if need be. And then for handwriting.
Yeah. So one of the goals we have for Will deals with handwriting specifically, and we would like him to go from 30% to 90% legible, which we think is definitely able to be accomplished. We're going to start with tracing sheets in the morning when everyone else is working on handwriting, and we can definitely go from there. But we think we're going to start there and see how that goes because we think that would help a lot.
Okay. And yeah, I'm sorry. Kate, I'll read through the goals really quick. We'll kind of step back. So within 1 year, Will's reading fluency will improve from a 2nd grade level to a 3rd grade level. And we'll have a reading fluency test to measure that. And then the next goal we have for the reading would be within 1 year, Will's reading skills will improve from a 2nd grade level to a 3rd grade level. And so that, again, we'll be working on in my class, and we'll go by observations and then some data collection I'll do to measure his progress. And then with the spelling, the goal is that he would increase from 20% accuracy to 75% accuracy within the next year. And then we have the handwriting goal, and then now we'll go to the writing with cohesiveness. Will is, he's so great at speaking orally what he understands, but it's just getting it on paper and making it a clear, concise paragraph. So what we're going to do with that is if there's something going on in the class like with science or maybe social studies, Jenn will send that with him, and then we will have him read it, and then he will orally tell me what he thinks or what he understands from it, and then we'll work on transcribing that. And the goal is that he will improve from conveying little meaning to being cohesive and conveying clear meaning in the next year.
Okay, so one of my concerns is he's gonna improve, hopefully, to the 3rd grade level. But how is that? I mean, do you think he'll be able to catch up with his classmates eventually? Because I know it's getting towards the end of the year. How do you see that happening? I mean, I know that it progresses, of course, with them, but is it promising? I mean, what's that process?
Yeah, and really good question. Will is such a smart boy, and he really does understand the material. It's just getting the reading and writing up to par. And I have a lot of hope in Will that he is going to progress really well with what we have in place for this coming year. And I feel he's going to make a lot of strides in the next year. And the goal is to get him up to speed with his peers. And do I foresee it happening? I do. I really do.
What is something that I can do at home? I mean, I want to be obviously supportive. So is something I can do at home with him, working with him? every evening or, devote a chunk of time. I've got some time obviously during the night. What is something that, some ideas?
Yeah, how much time do you think you could dedicate to maybe we could make a packet up for him? And how much time do you think at home could you dedicate a week to that packet? Like 1 day a week or?
Like probably 3 days a week would be great. And then, just like chunks of time, for sure.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Okay, so like we can definitely make a packet up of different things that we're working on, and then you can work on it 3 days a week and have it completed by the end of the week. That would be great. I think that will really help.
And Jenna would just, you would just return the packet.
Yeah, we can work on that. Yeah, return the packet and see progress, and we can
Yeah.
make new ones, and depending on how it's going.
Okay, so any other questions or concerns regarding the goals or present levels where Will is at right now?
Not at this moment. I mean, this is very clear and concise, and I really appreciate you guys going through this with me and, just breaking it down. It's nice to be able to see that.
Awesome.
All right, so the next section we want to talk about a little bit is the state and district assessments. So for now, we have Will just taking the regular state assessment for math because we feel he doesn't need any help with that. He's really good at math. But for English, language arts, and science, possibly taking the regular assessment, but with some accommodations that we'll talk about, because he might struggle a little bit with reading in the language arts portion and in the science portion if there are longer questions, and we don't want that to affect his score because he probably does know all the science. We just want him to be able to read it if he needs help. So on page 7, we've talked a little bit about the accommodations necessary that we are going to try to implement. So we checked off that we're going to simplify the test wording if possible, and then read class materials orally. So that might help him with science especially. We don't want him to get knocked points because he does understand the questions. We will give him extra time to complete assignments and extra time on tests and quizzes if he needs it, if he needs to take a little bit more time reading. And then for the setting of the room, we've decided that we will provide either an individual instruction or small group instruction in a separate location if needed or in a quieter space. And then also read materials orally if he asks us to, if he needs it. And then finally, we check that we will utilize oral responses to assessments and tests. So just again, if he needs help orally rather than reading it himself, we'll try to help him out with that just for now in case
Like
he needs any help.
Reading out loud and clarifying.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Okay, so what his week will look like is, like we had talked about, he'll be with me an hour a day. So that equals to 300 minutes a week that he'll be in my instruction or in my classroom. So yeah, is there any further questions that you have, Kate, regarding like what his day might look like?
I mean, he's not gonna. I mean, you guys are gonna pull him out, but it's gonna be like a simple transition. It's not gonna make him feel like he's being singled out. Are there other kids in the classroom that also get pulled out?
We do have one other student, and the thing is they can independently come to the class. They can just kind of sneak out. Like I had mentioned earlier that I would come get him, but I think what would be best is if he just comes to my class. I'll be waiting for him. He can, there won't be any attention drawn to it, and he'll just come in and we'll work for the hour and work on what they're, modifying what they're working on. And then also too, when I brought up that last hour of the day, we don't want to take from his general and minutes. So we will work on what he's working on in class. It just would be a space provided that's quiet for him. If it as needed, it might not be needed, but it's just an option if he needs. If he's refusing to do his work or whatever.
Yeah.
So.
Instead of being pulled out for negative reasons, being pulled out for positive reasons.
Yeah, exactly. So he's still working on homework. He's not just sitting in the hallway doing nothing.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Okay, so then I asked you already if you have questions or concerns, but one last time, if anybody has anything else to say or anything more input.
I feel pretty confident in this, and I really appreciate, this. The fortunate things behind, but I hope that he can get caught up. I want the best for him. So.
Yeah, we do.
All right.
Okay, and so then we'll just get get everything typed up for you, get the IEP solidified, and then we'll send it off to you, and you'll sign it, and we'll send it back. And
Yeah, perfect.
It'll be good.
And once again, as the administrator, please take a moment to just review your rights and if you have any questions or any kind of concerns, please feel free to talk to us. We are open and willing to definitely listen. So, alrighty, and we out.